Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Weather Forecast Center. This is John here to give you the latest on the current conditions that are out there today and take a look at the pattern for the next 7 days, as well as some temperature outlooks, as there is a big cool down on the way for much of the eastern United States going into next weekend. More on that in a little bit. Um, right now, we have showers and thunderstorms here that is hugging the Carolina coast, South Carolina and North Carolina coast, with this frontal boundary that is stationary in the area. We have showers and thunderstorms in Florida where they usually get it. And we have some rain and thunderstorms here in central Texas where there has been a few flash flood warnings. In fact, more on that in a little bit. We also have this batch of showers and thunderstorms off the Texas Gulf Coast. Um, this, by the National Hurricane Center, this low here has a 10% chance of developing, but I'm basically not going to go there, and it's just going to be a tropical low that's going to bring a bunch of moisture along the Gulf Coast during the week. Um, More on that later. And we have some showers and thunderstorms developing here into Oregon, Washington, and Idaho as we speak. So that is what is going on radar wise. The current hazards as they are as of this time. We have flood watches in central Texas. There has been a few flash flood warnings, which I will get to in a moment. There's an excessive heat watch here for Arizona, southern Nevada, and southern California, where temperatures will be increasing as the week goes on. And we have red flag warnings here for um, much of Idaho, southwestern Montana, southeastern Oregon, um, northeastern Colorado, much of northern Nevada, and into western Utah. And also here in western South Dakota, western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, and a couple county here in Colorado. So those are the current hazards as of the time of this recording. Now we'll take a look at the SPC Outlook for the next 3 days, starting with today. There is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms today here for um, northeastern Oregon into northern Nevada, a small portion of northwestern Utah, and for much of Idaho. The hazards for the marginal risk today is only a 5% chance of wind up to 60 miles an hour. As you can see on the screen, I've written 65 and pointed an arrow to it. So as far as the highest wind gust, I suspect the highest wind gust will be maxed at 65 miles an hour today. For tomorrow's outlook, there is a marginal risk of severe weather for much of Montana, eastern Idaho, um, much of Utah, the northwestern corner of Colorado, much of Wyoming, far western South Dakota, and far southwestern North Dakota. As far as the risk, tomorrow there is a 5% chance of hail in Montana, eastern Idaho, and western Wyoming. Hailstones could be as much as up as up to an inch in diameter hail, and that would pretty much be the max for the hail portion of the risk area. And the wind threat for tomorrow, um, basically the marginal risk area, there's a 5% chance of wind up to 60 miles an hour, and the maximum winds will probably top out at about 65 miles an hour in the marginal risk area for tomorrow. On Wednesday, the threat for severe weather shifts a little bit to the east. It now includes much of central and southeastern Montana, much of Wyoming, far eastern Utah, much of Colorado, the western third of Nebraska, South Dakota, much of North Dakota, and much of Minnesota. And for Wednesday's risk area, there is only a 5% chance of significant severe weather. We do not know of what modes at this time, but it's only a 5% risk. My guess will probably be mostly wind, maybe some isolated hail. Now we will look at the excessive rain outlook for the next 3 days, starting with today. In the yellow shaded regions, which are highlighted in the heavier black, those are 15% chance of flash flood guidance being met within 25 miles at any given point. That includes central Texas and the Gulf Coast region of southeast Texas, from, I would say, from just south of Houston down to Corpus Christi. The lighter green areas is a 5% chance of flash flood guidance being met, and that is for southeastern New Mexico, much of Texas, and a spot over by the North Carolina and the very far northeastern South Carolina coast. For tomorrow's excessive rain outlook, there is a slight risk of flash flood guidance being met, which is a 15% chance of flash flood guidance being met within 25 miles of a given point in central Texas for tomorrow. And there is a marginal 5% risk for Idaho and Montana, and for the rest of Texas. And the excessive rain outlook for Wednesday, for Wednesday, is a 15% chance of flash flood guidance being met in the yellow region, which covers eastern Louisiana, much of Mississippi and the Gulf Coast of Alabama and Mississippi, where the green shaded areas is a 5% chance of flash flood guidance being met, and that goes from far southern Illinois down along the southeast Texas coast and back into the Florida Panhandle. So now we will be looking at the model guidance for the southeast, because this is where most of the rain will be falling this week. So we are starting off with the this is the current run of the euro. So we're using the euro for this. So we got showers and thunderstorms here in North Carolina and South Carolina. This is as of 2 o'clock. This is a 2 o'clock run. Showers and thunderstorms aplenty down here in Florida. And then we have the showers and thunderstorms here along the Louisiana and Texas coast. And we're moving this in 12-hour intervals. Well, 12-hour intervals going from, so that's as of right now. So this is 8 o'clock this evening. Most of the showers and thunderstorms have rained in Florida, but they linger along the coast of South Carolina. Scattered inland showers and thunderstorms through South Carolina, Georgia, and northern Florida, and some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder here in Louisiana. As we go into tomorrow morning, showers and thunderstorms along the coast of South Carolina and Georgia, also along the Gulf Coast of Florida, and off the coast of Texas tomorrow morning. For tomorrow evening, showers and thunderstorms here across Florida, the Gulf Coast, the Atlantic coast of Georgia. Some showers and thunderstorms here in Alabama and Mississippi, and some scattered storm activity in eastern Louisiana into the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. And they continue to get rain right here along the Texas coast. For Wednesday morning, showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Also here on the western side of Louisiana into the Texas Gulf Coast. Some showers here, possibly a rumble of thunder in Arkansas. And we still have this area of showers and thunderstorms hanging out along the Atlantic coast of Georgia and Florida for Wednesday morning. So for Wednesday early afternoon, we have showers and thunderstorms aplenty here in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, here along the Gulf Coast of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, here along the Florida Panhandle, here in Georgia and Florida. So there is lots of tropical moisture that's going to be in the southeast Wednesday afternoon. That's going to cause widespread showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast. As we go into Wednesday evening, showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast and along the Atlantic coast of Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and eastern Texas. As we're waking up Thursday morning, there is going to be showers and thunderstorms here in far southern South Carolina into Georgia through Alabama and far eastern Mississippi. The Gulf Coast again, showers and thunderstorms from Texas to Florida coast. Showers and thunderstorms here in Arkansas and far northeastern Texas. And we will have showers and thunderstorms here in North Carolina and along the Atlantic coast of Georgia and Florida. As we go into Thursday evening, showers and thunderstorms in northeastern South Carolina and southeastern North Carolina, and widespread showers and thunderstorms from far southern South Carolina through South Georgia, the Panhandle of Florida, through the Gulf Coast of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and East Texas. And this is going into Thursday night. As we go into Friday morning, we have showers and thunderstorms, widespread, cutting through Georgia, Florida Panhandle, the Alabama Gulf Coast, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Louisiana Gulf Coast into central Louisiana, while we have scattered showers and thunderstorms here developing in East Texas going into Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana. As we go into Friday evening, the cold front will be here, so there'll be some scattered showers and thunderstorms here in Arkansas, eastern Texas, and for much of the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And we start to get showers and thunderstorms encroaching central Georgia, going into South Carolina Friday evening. As we go into Saturday morning, the front is here, so there'll be some showers and thunderstorms here in Tennessee Saturday morning. Widespread rain and storms from Florida to North Carolina with this tropical moisture that's been sitting over here and progressing to the east. And this cold front will help steer it out in the coming days. As we go into Saturday night, here's the first front, and the other front has come through. So showers and thunderstorms here in Florida, and we will have some showers and thunderstorms with the reinforcing cold front here in North and South Carolina. As we go into Sunday morning, the front has cleared most of the southeast except for Florida. So expect showers and thunderstorms in the morning on Sunday here, primarily in central Florida. And for Sunday afternoon and evening, just some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms for central Florida. We will now look at temperatures for the southeast. for the rest of today, there will be some 80s and 90s, primarily primarily throughout. So basically, I will talk through this. Why did it not change? All right, we're gonna get this right one of these days. So this is 2 o'clock today. 12. No, this is 8 a.m. So this morning lows was mostly in the 70s with a couple of 60s in the southern Appalachians. This afternoon, there'll be widespread 80s and 90s. Then as we go into tomorrow morning, now I can start drawing. Come on, there we go. So we got 60s, primarily in the northern tier, 70s through the rest of the southeast. As we go into tomorrow afternoon, we got some 70s hanging out in this corridor here, but primarily 80s and 90s elsewhere, middle 90s in excuse me, southern Alabama, and 80s and a few 90s down here into Florida. As we go into Wednesday morning, primarily there'll be 60s in this region, '70s elsewhere. As we go into Wednesday afternoon, temperatures get knocked down due to cloud cover. So 70s in the northern areas, 80s to around 90 for the rest of the southeast. As we go into tomorrow morning, or Thursday morning, I should say. Now we have some middle 50s showing up in the North Carolina mountains. Otherwise, 60s in a line kind of like that. 70s elsewhere. As we go into the afternoon, we have some 70s here in North Carolina mostly, 80s Most of Florida will be stuck in the 70s and low 80s due to cloud cover and rain. 80s and 90s out here in the Mid-South. 90s in South Florida. As we go into Friday morning. Again, the North Carolina mountains will see upper 50s. Otherwise, 60s will be confined to this area. 70s elsewhere for lows. And your highs for Friday. Wow. It's 8. There we go. So your highs for Friday will be stuck in the 70s for northern Florida, southern Georgia into Alabama due to clouds and rain. 80s and 90s elsewhere. Northern Mississippi will be in the low 90s. Everywhere else will be low to mid 80s with a pocket of 70s here in the Midlands of South Carolina into the North Carolina mountains, where there could be some cold air damming event going on there. As we go into Saturday morning, the lows, you can see where that front's coming in now. It's kind of like in this area here. So north of this is 60s. Still hanging on to some 50s here in the southern Appalachians. Oh, wow. That goes up, comes down like this. So basically, I'm just drawing a line. For the rest of this, so north of this line is 60s. Never mind that. 70s elsewhere for lows going into Saturday morning. As we go into the afternoon, you can tell where that front is. That front is in this vicinity here. So north of this line is 70s. South of this line is 80s, except for this area here, where they'd be stuck in the 70s with clouds and rain. Oh, and that also goes for this portion of Florida. Be stuck in the 70s with clouds and rain on Saturday afternoon. Low 90s in Alabama. Elsewhere, 80s. Maybe some 90s in South Florida. As we go into Sunday morning, yeah, wow. You can really see where that front is now on Sunday. Basically cutting through the area kind of like this. So you got some upper 40s possible here in the North Carolina mountains. 50s to the north, some 60s and 70s to the south. Those are your morning lows for Sunday. Your afternoon highs for Sunday, let's see. See if I can draw this. Anything north of that line is in the 70s, 80s to the south, with a few 90s in southern Alabama, possibly still stuck in the 70s with clouds and rain in central Florida, and highs just about 80 from this line to the west, where it's mid 80s, mid to upper 80s to the east of that. Basically, where this line is where that cold front is as it continues to sag south. So now we will go over mild guidance for the rest of the United States. Since we covered south, the only reason why I covered the southeast was because of the tropical low that was in the Gulf of Mexico and where that eventually would have gone. So for the most part, most of the southern tier of the United States has been talked about. So we will start it off here, which is 2 o'clock this afternoon. And what we see here is nothing but dry weather except for the areas that I've talked about. Starting to see some blips here of showers and thunderstorms developing in Idaho and far southwestern Montana. As we go into this evening, some more scattered showers and thunderstorms here in Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. New Mexico and much of Texas is still plagued with tropical moisture, so showers and thunderstorms continue. And then showers and thunderstorms, which I've already discussed, off the Carolina coast. As we go into tomorrow morning, some scattered showers and thunderstorms here in Montana and Idaho. High pressure dominates the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast, while the showers and thunderstorms continue for the southern, southeastern tier of the country. As we go into Tuesday evening, some scattered showers and thunderstorms here in Montana and Idaho. Also here in the Rockies. And again, the showers and thunderstorms continue to plague the southern tier states in the southeast. And the temperatures down here will start to warm up. And the high pressure system here that was over the Midwest starts to move over to the northeast, continuing dry weather for the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and the Midwest. As we go into Wednesday morning, the inklings of the cold front start to show up, which is right here. So you got showers and thunderstorms in the morning hours in Colorado, here in the Dakotas, while again, the southeast still gets plagued with the tropical moisture from the from the wave here in the Gulf of Mexico, while the northwest starts to heat up. As we go into Wednesday evening, here is the cold front. So showers and thunderstorms here in Colorado and Nebraska, here in Dakotas into Minnesota. Some of these may be severe, so as we get closer to Wednesday, stay alert and listen to your local news to see if they have any kind of alert day for Wednesday. Also, some lingering showers, maybe a rumble of thunder in Montana. While again, the South continues to get plagued with the tropical moisture. As we go into Thursday morning, boy, you can really see that cold front now, can you? It's right here. And it extends all the way out this way. More than likely, we'll have a line of showers and thunderstorms from the UP of Michigan all the way back into southeastern Colorado Thursday morning as this front continues to move to the east. Meanwhile, the southeast still gets plagued with the tropical moisture, and the northwest and the desert southwest starts to heat up. As we go into Thursday evening, cold front is situated like this. So you have showers and thunderstorms all along it, from Michigan through Illinois, through Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Panhandle of Texas into southeastern New Mexico. While again, the southeast continues to get plagued with tropical moisture as the first low moves off North Carolina coast, while the west starts to get hot. As we go into Friday morning, the cold front now is in here. So showers and thunderstorms along the cold front from Michigan back through northwestern Indiana, through central Illinois, into central Missouri, into Arkansas. And now the moisture from here has exited let's get this right. Exited Texas, and now it's still plaguing the southeast with tropical moisture, and the west continues to heat up, and possibly a random shower or storm here in Nebraska. As we go into Friday evening, the front is on the move. So showers and thunderstorms from, we'll say, Detroit through Ohio, through Kentucky, through far northwestern Tennessee, through Arkansas, and into eastern Texas. While again, the southeast gets plagued with the tropical moisture, and the west is sizzling. at this point. As we go into Saturday morning, here is the front. Showers and thunderstorms all along it, from western New York State through western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, into now getting into western West Virginia, through eastern Ohio, through eastern Kentucky, through middle Tennessee. And that moisture still lingers here in the southeast, while the northwest gets hot and the Great Lakes and Midwest cools down. As we go into Saturday evening, your cold front is like this. Showers and thunderstorms all along it. A low develops on the front here in the Carolinas. Lingering showers behind the front in Michigan. Excuse me. While Midwest, Great Lakes, getting into the mid-south starts to cool down, while the west continues to sizzle. As we go into Sunday morning, your front now has primarily shifted down into Florida, with all the cooler air funneling in from Canada. Could have some random showers and thunderstorms here in Kansas and Nebraska. But otherwise, I will show you temperatures for the next week for the United States, even though I did the Southeast. But Northwest continues to stay hot. So now I'm going to talk about the flooding potential that is for Texas for this afternoon. As you can see, this is the HRRR model showing showers and thunderstorms through central Texas. There is a 1011 millibar low off the far southern Gulf Coast of Texas. As we move this forward, take this up to 8 o'clock, still see showers and thunderstorms continuing in central Texas, maybe spreading into far southeastern New Mexico and into northern Texas, but primarily in southern and central Texas. Showers and thunderstorms continue. As we continue to move this forward, it's still raining in central Texas, and the rainfall could be quite heavy today. That's 18Z. So rainfall for the next 18 hours. 1 to 3 inches of rain, primarily in this area here, which could lead to some flash flooding. So, for those of you that that go under a flash flood warning. Turn around, don't drown, seek higher ground. Okay? Do not go in your cars and try and drive in this, or anywhere in any flash flood warning areas. There is no need for it. Okay? So what I'm going to do, now we're at the end of this video, but before I do, I will show you the high temperatures for the desert Southwest for this upcoming week, starting with today. 100 to 100 teens down here in the desert Southwest, while the valleys of California start to heat up into the low to upper 90s. And you got 90s out here in Utah, possibly a low 100 reading down here in far southwestern Utah. 80s everywhere else. As we go into tomorrow, you can see a big difference now. Hold on. There we go. Try and move the map. There we go. So, still 100 to 100 teens here. Central Valley of California goes into the 90s and 100s. Even inland from the coast, 90s and 100s. 80s and 90s elsewhere. As we go into Wednesday, (100 to 100 teens prevalent in the desert Southwest. That's 114 along the Arizona-California border, 111 in Phoenix, Central Valley of California, low to mid 100s. Inland from the coast, 90s and 100s. And then you got 90s spreading into the Rockies. For Thursday, it gets even hotter. 100 to mid 110s. That's 116 here along the California-Arizona border. 114 along the where California, Arizona, and Nevada meet. 113 in Phoenix. Well, it'll be more like 110, but 110 to 113. The valleys of California, mid 100s. Inland from the coast, mid 90s to mid 100s. I will show you the Northwest when I am done here. These are highs for Friday. Again, more one teens in the desert Southwest. The valleys of California, mid 100s. Inland from the coast, 90s and 100s. High temperatures for Saturday, September the 7th. Sorry, had to move the map down. Again, 100 teens in the desert Southwest, 112 along the California-Arizona border. About 110, 107 and 110 in Phoenix. The Central Valley of California now cools down to upper 90s to low 100s. And the inland from the coast starts to cool down, but still 90s and 100s, but a few 80s are now sprinkled in. These are your high temperatures for Sunday, September the 8th. Now instead of 1 teens, upper 100s to around 110 in the desert Southwest. Central Valley start to cool down now, mid 90s to around 100. Inland from the coast now cools down to from the upper 80s to the upper 90s to around 100. So this heat wave down in the Southwest will last for about 5 days before it starts cooling down into the mid 100s in the desert Southwest. Call that cooling down, but they'll be in the 1 teens for quite a few days this upcoming week. So now we move to the Northwest, and high temperatures for the Northwest, mid 90s here, along Oregon and Washington, mid to upper 90s here in Montana, Utah, southern Idaho, eastern Oregon, and northern Nevada, 80s and 90s. High temperatures for tomorrow. Now it cools down a little bit into the 80s for most areas. A few 90s here in Montana. 80s mostly everywhere else. Highs for Wednesday. Now you can start seeing the difference now. We got some low 90s in Washington. Now, western side of Oregon now, we got 90s and low 100s now developing in western Oregon. Highs on Thursday. Now you can really see the difference now. 90s to possibly a 100 reading here in between along Washington and Idaho border, along the coast of Washington and Oregon. Now you got 90s and mid 100s here in southwestern Oregon. Friday's high temperatures. Lots of 90s Here, southeastern Washington, a 102 reading between Washington and Idaho border. Lots of upper 90s here. 98 here, a 98 here, a 96, a 97. And along western Oregon, 90s to low 100s. Again, by Saturday, it starts to cool down in western Oregon. Instead of 90s to 100s, now primarily just low to mid 90s. Still got mid to upper 90s here. Washington and north central Oregon. 90s through eastern Oregon. 90s here around in the western part of Idaho. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name at the time. So for the Northwest, it will be hot starting Wednesday as well. Now I will leave up this map. Actually, we'll do this. I'll even do Sunday. As you can see, it falls back into the 80s in the eastern Oregon. Primarily just 80s and a few 90s scattered around in the Northwest. So the highlights for the next 7 days. Central Texas will be getting much needed rain. I'm sure they've been crying for rain for a while, but now they are going to get it. A big cold front will be coming out of Canada and sweeping through the Midwest, the Northeast, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, and that will bring cooler weather along with it. And we're talking temperatures possibly 15 to 20 degrees below average in the Midwest and Great Lakes region. The desert Southwest and the Northwest will begin to heat up starting on Wednesday, and that will continue for a few days. There is no use of talking about the tropics because nothing has developed, and we are not sure if they are going to develop. And they show it developing in La La Land, and I, for one, do not talk about anything past 7 days. So anything past 7 days can remain nameless until it actually happens. So that's how I work with the tropics. If there ain't nothing out there right now, there's no use talking about it. Now, with that being said, there could be something next weekend. We'll see. But for right now, there's no use talking about the tropics at this time. I'm not even going to talk about the wave that's out just off of Africa or the one that's ahead of it that's going towards Leeward Islands. None of it. Not even that thing in the Gulf of Mexico, because that is not going to develop either. So as far as the tropics are dead to me. But going into the weekend and into next week, there will be a big cool down for the Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast, Mid Atlantic, and the Southeast. With all that being said, I thank you watching um, for watching this video. And just as a side note, I have a Patreon going. If you would like to become a member to my Patreon, please go to www.patreon.com/weather forecast center, all one word, as I am going to start giving members some perks into either they want their hometown forecast for the next 7 days broadcast by me, or a big, huge thank you note for supporting me and my channel. And there is an entry level thing where I will give discounts to people that do become memberships on my Patreon. So go to www.patreon.com/weather forecast center. If you want to become a member, feel free to do so. With that, I wish everyone has a wonderful holiday today if you are not working or are working. And I hope everyone has a good week out there. If any severe weather develops from Wednesday on with the cold front, I will post shorts, updates on them. And if I need to be, I will go online if it becomes serious. But until then, I hope everyone has a wonderful Labor Day, and I will talk to you again soon.